Hi everybody, it's that time of year again when we're going to be getting an update to DayZ, and this time it's update 1.24. So in this video, specifically for console owners, console server owners for PlayStation and Xbox, but I will show a little bit about how to do this for PC as well. I'm going to be showing you how to know whether you've had the update or not, and then how to update your mission files to the latest 1.24 mission files on your Nitrado community server. So the first thing you kind of have to know, or it's nice to know anyway, is what's coming with 1.24. Because if we know what's coming with 1.24, we can then check to see whether we've got the latest files or not. And it's pretty easy with 1.24 because the big change is the Vikhr Rifle. Now, I've already got the 1.24 files because I've got an experimental server on my local PC, so I've got the files here. And what we're doing is we're just checking the spelling. And the reason why we check the spelling is because sometimes how item is described in the patch notes, or even in game when you see things on the screen, can be different to the way that it is in the code. And if you haven't guessed already, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking on our server, and we're going to be looking in our types.xml for the Vikhr, because if the Vikhr or the Vicky is there, we know that our files have been updated and everything's cool, and if they haven't, we've got to go through the process. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy Vikhr from there, and what I'll do is in the description below this video I'll put that there as well, so you can copy and paste it when you come to check. So then what will happen is sometime on the update day there'll probably be something DayZ will tell you somehow. So it will be, on the DayZ Twitter account, or they'll release a blog post or something like that saying, okay, so the PC servers, they're normally first, they're being updated, and then they'll say, okay, console servers are going down and they're being updated. And when all that's done, probably your Nitrado servers will start to be updated. However, even when Nitrado tells you that your server has been updated, it doesn't mean they've updated the mission file. What they are in fact updating is the DayZ server.exe file that runs DayZ in the background, not the mission file. Because remember, you may well have custom mission files that you've made up yourself, maybe boosted loot types.xml, so you've got more guns, or maybe you've got survival files where you've reduced the sort of stuff. So they don't wipe everything automatically. So really, if you haven't done already, you should be working on updating your old files so that you can then upload them when you need to. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below this video to how to do that. But if we hit the web interface for our particular server that we want to go in and check, what we're looking for here is we can see very obviously here in the version number that currently this server is running at version 1.23. So it hasn't got version 1.24. It won't have the latest mission files on it if it is running at that. So there's no point checking really. Now, we can't update this manually on Nitrado. What will happen is there will be a notification, and Nitrado will go through and they'll update all their DayZ servers to 1.24. If, however, you do come to this screen and it does say version 1.24 something, that doesn't mean you've got the mission files, because as I said, they don't update those automatically. But the way that you can check is if you go to the file browser and you go into DayZ PS missions, or XB missions for Xbox, and then Chernarus Plus for Chernarus, Enoch for a Livonia server. Then we go into the DB directory and then go into the types.xml. You can click on that. And now what we would do is we could either scroll down to the bottom to the V's and look for the V's and see if the UVW, and you see whether the Vikhr's there. Gosh, there's a lot of W's, isn't there? UVW, yeah, UVW, isn't it? Winter Coif, Winchester, Whetstone, Wellies, Weapon Cleaning Kit, Waterproof, Watchtower Kit. So there's the VSS, we're in the V's. So there's no Vikhr, is there? Or you could click somewhere, normally near the top, click in, do Control F, do Control V for Vikhr, and as you can see it says there aren't any, 0. Now don't always trust when you do a search on in a browser. If you have gone through the process we've talked about and it does say you haven't got any, do that manual method of scrolling down and physically having a look, because sometimes it will be there but for some reason the search doesn't bring it up. Okay, so we know our server got updated to 1.24, server.exe, but we haven't got the latest mission file. So we need to get the latest mission file. So how do we do that? So what you want to do is you'll want to go to Settings General here at the front, and you'll want to stop your server first. So stop your server, and then you scroll down, and you'll see this setting here, reset mission XML to default. Now you won't see this on a PC server, so don't try and do it. And what this is going to do is we're going to tick that, and we're going to click save, and then we're going to restart the server. And what that will do, don't do it yet, what that will do is it will take the latest 1.24 files that Nitrado have, and you're giving Nitrado permission to put those 1.2 vanilla files onto your server. So you'll get the Vikhr, you'll get all the new code, because remember, something that people forget is that a DayZ update in terms of the XMLs and the JSONs isn't just about new class names. For example, with 1.24, there's been changes to the types.xml code so that guns without magazines can now spawn in bullets, or if they have got an internal magazine, a quantity of bullets, a random quantity. So that's physically changed. So if you're the type of person who would just add in the new types, your players on your server are going to miss out that mechanic, and there can be other things like that as well. So by resetting the mission to XML default, saving, restart your server, so it'll take a couple of minutes to do, and then when you're done, untick that and then save, and then you can restart the server again if you want. What you would then do is you then go back to your file browser, you would go back to your types, and then you would do your Control F to have a look for the Vikhr, or scroll down and have a look for it that way. Do remember though that with this technique you are deleting in effect all of your custom server files. So if you had custom server files, so boosted types is the most obvious one. What you would do is you would have those boosted files ready to go, updated to update 1.24. And once you've set all the files on the server back to vanilla 1.24, you would then upload your boosted loot files over the top of them. So for example, for myself, over the next couple of days, I'll be updating my types.xmls and my events.xmls and my boosted loot stuff to 1.24 to include the 1.24 new code and the 1.24 new items, the Vikhr and the new helmets, so that they'll be ready to go. So my server, the first step will be to reset it to vanilla 1.24, and then I'll upload my boosted loots over the top using the upload function, and then I will restart my server, and that way I'll have my boosted loot stuff that will come in. And again, I'll put a link in the description below this video on how you do that if you're not quite sure. And that basically is how you do it on console. Pretty easy to do. It's pretty cool. Now, if you're running a DayZ server, DayZ PC server on Nitrado or somewhere else, it can be a little bit more complicated. But where you're really going to start is by getting hold of the DayZ 1.24 files. And the way that you do that is in your Steam library. If you go to the filter and have games and tools and install the DayZ experimental branch of DayZ, the server, what that will then give you is, if you go to your normally it's something like C program files, x86, Steam apps common, you'll have DayZ server experimental will appear, and in here you'll have your missions folder, and there you've got Chandler's Plus, and so there you've got all the 1.24 files. They're the experimental ones, but as long as you wait a week or so into the experimental cycle, these are probably going to be very, very similar to the ones that get updated when the servers go live. And from this point, what you can then do is you can then modify these so that you include your boosted loot items if that's something you want to do, or if you're just going to be uploading them to your server as is, you would then use your FTP program, and if you've got a PC server you'll know what that's all about, to upload them, because you can't really upload this number of files very easily using the server browser. I mean, you don't have to upload all of them, because you could go through and just upload the ones that have changed, because like CFG random presets hasn't changed, limits definition hasn't changed, ignore list hasn't changed, so there's only certain ones that have actually changed, but you would then do that that way. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's giving you a good idea of how to know if your server has been updated to 1.24. Again, look out for the let's click on that again. let's just go through. Look out for the version number on the main dashboard for your server. And then if you want to know if you've got the mission files, which you generally won't have straight away, go into the file browser, search for the Vikhr, and then if you haven't got that, go into the general settings, reset mission XML to the default, restart your server, upload your modified files on top of it, restart your server, and then you'll be good to go. So there we are. If you found the video useful, hit like if you want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.